Hello, Grapperinos, and welcome to another exciting episode of Probably Next Week on Smackdown. I'm Bryon, and joining me on the show, as always, is, shall I say, my tag team partner, my Bubba Ray to Devon, my Marty Jannetty to Shawn Michaels, in a good way. Mike, say hi, Mike.
Hello. I watching Evolve. Is it Evolve or
Yeah.
the other up and coming? They have two up and coming shows. You have one that's purple and one
Yes.
that's green. Oh no, one is LFG, the other is Evolve.
Yeah.
I was watching some bits of I think LFG, and I realized how much of an ass Bubba Ray Dudley is. Like he's kind of a dick,
Yeah.
which I get, but man, like chill the fuck out, bro.
There were some really interesting segments in LFG, but LFG is definitely more of a kind of reality TV show, whereas Evolve feels more like the Raw and SmackDown and NXT shows they produce. But it's an hour, and all the matches are not speed level, but they're more extensive. They're more on the level of Raw and SmackDown, but they're about like up and coming independent wrestlers who are probably gonna get signed to WWE at some point, maybe. But yeah, Evolve is pretty good if you just want wrestling for an hour and that's it. It's just in and out right there. So, anyway, welcome to another episode of this show. And just like probably next week on Raw, this is the same thing except it's SmackDown. And if you haven't watched the first episode of this series where we try to book SmackDown, or at least the next episode of it, you can just watch it. It's on the channel. But yeah, we book SmackDown, at least the next episode of it, according to a couple of rules, which are as follows. We can only use active superstars on their respective rosters, no crossover, which means that we cannot use Raw superstars, and vice versa.
I have a question.
Yes.
Seeing as Tyrese Halliburton has appeared on Raw,
Oh no.
is he valid? and or is Jalen Brunson valid? And by that extension,
are you
are
trying to
any
say?
NBA
Are you
players
trying to
valid?
book a feud between Tyrese Halliburton and the other guy to conclude at SummerSlam, where the two face off in a no DQ bout? Is this what you're trying to do? Is this what you want to book, Mr. Vince Russo?
As someone who has a vested interest in the Eastern Conference of the NBA, yes, because I would very much like if Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson beat the shit out of each other at SummerSlam. Not only would it be funny, but then maybe we could actually win the Eastern Conference again, provided Kristaps Porzingis doesn't get turbo COVID and Jason Tatum's leg doesn't fall off again. But irregardless,
I think we also have a better chance if both of them get actually injured, but I don't think the NBA would let that happen.
no, they're not going to let them get in the ring and do anything.
No, they're just gonna let them push each other, and that's it, I guess.
So realm of possibility. Realm of possibility is the general rule here.
Yeah, I was talking about. Okay. Yeah, we were talking about the second rule: non-active wrestlers can be used within the realm of possibility. All right. So unfortunately, we might not be able to use NBA people, but we could use people like Goldberg. I hope not, but we can use Goldberg, I guess. Our booking includes announced matches for the next episode with our predictions, and our booking can use any valid stipulation for any match aside from the announced matches. After we have locked in our card for SmackDown, or at least our predicted card, we are going to watch the next episode of SmackDown as it premieres, and we are going to score our predictions and our booking based on the following scoring system, which is a work in progress, as stated in the Raw show. For matches, it's 1 point for the people competing in the match, 1 point for who won and how, and I just want to generalize this. They either win by pinfall, DQ, submission, etc., and 1 point for the stipulation of the match if we get that correct. For the promos, we want to simplify this as well. I sort of had it so that if the person comes out first and it's the predicted person, then it's 1 point. And then for each person coming out of that segment, it's 0.5. So for example, if I predicted Drew McIntyre has a promo on the show and Drew McIntyre comes out, that's 1 point for me. But then if I said that, let's just say Solo Sikoa comes out, and Solo Sikoa comes out after Drew McIntyre, I get half a point. And 1 point for the topic that is being spoken. 1 point for the correct order of segments throughout the show. And anything announced after the video is released counts. So any other announced matches that match with our predictions will count towards the points. And backstage segments don't count. Scores from last week. I think we were, as we said on the Raw show, we were being a little too generous with our points. And I think I got 13 points. And Mike, you had 10? Is that right? Is that... I'm taking this from when we watched Smackdown last week.
Yes.
And...
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All
yeah.
right.
Because I think I got correct. I got the Solo Sikoa promo right, except I didn't get the ending of that right. And I believe I also got the Cena pro. No. What else did I get
No,
right?
Cena
I
promo
actually
did
mark
not
off what I
happen.
got. What
Yeah,
else
we
I
should
got
you
right.
should actually mark that. Yes.
I need a better way to take notes and understand what I got right. Anyway, I know on the Raw, I almost got a perfect segment.
You almost did, yeah.
But I almost did.
I was almost marking out for that. I just noticed that this doesn't pertain to SmackDown. This pertains more to Raw, but I spelled theory as Thory. so I had Waller and Thory argue after the match. It's a bit of a spelling mistake on my part, but let's continue, I guess. So I am leading 13-10. We'll see if that changes. So announced matches for this Friday include the Money in the Bank qualifying match, where Aleister Black takes on Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight. Money in the Bank qualifier match for the women, as Julia takes on Zelina Vega and Charlotte. And Street Profits versus Fraxium for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Without further ado, let's book this stuff. Introducing my version of the show with the Legado del Fantasma promo segment. I wanted Legado del Fantasma to have a spotlight this time instead of the Bloodline last week because I got something cooking. So, this promo segment is about Berto. We're going to have Santos and Garza come out and say that we want to talk to Berto in this ring because, honestly, we have been a little bit of a... I don't know, I guess you could say a bit rude towards Berto, and they just want to extend a little peace offering to him. So Berto comes out, and Santos and Garza say, all right, we're going to make it up to you. We're going to make a peace offering. I talked to Nick Aldis, and I got you guys, and this is Santos obviously saying this to Garza and Berto. He says that we're a family. We're going to win as a family. We're going to win together as a family. And I'm going to give you an opportunity. And I got you guys this match later in the show. If you win, you'll be one step closer to winning the Tag Team Championships. And Santos is hoping that Berto will accept the offer and be like all nice and positive towards the group. He extends his hand for Berto to shake, and Berto thinks about it a little bit, and he says, okay, sure, let me do it. And he shakes Santos's hand. And all members of the Legado del Fantasma group leave satisfied, while Berto remains a bit in the ring. He appears to be a little satisfied with the offer, but there's a hint that something might happen later on the show. So I know that Legado del Fantasma doesn't have a lot of heat, and honestly, not a lot of people care about them. But I think an angle for this Legado breakup might be needed here. And I think a promo segment at the beginning is a pretty good idea. Next, Money in the Bank qualifying match. Aleister Black versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Knight. And we are going to have Aleister Black win here by pinfall. I noticed when we were watching Raw that they're pushing a lot of the new people. And if Raw is doing that, then might as well do the same thing for SmackDown. So I think we're going to have Aleister Black win here by pinfall. I don't really care who he pins, but I just want to see Aleister Black win. And hopefully he does. And I think he's a really cool guy. So there you go. Aleister Black wins, hopefully by pinfall. Next, we're gonna have Tommaso Ciampa, and I put him with the bushy beard. So Mike is happy that Tommaso Ciampa has his beard on this picture, just to remind him of the good old days. And we're gonna have him take on Alex Shelley of the Motor City Machine Guns. And we're gonna have Shelley win this one, and DIY attacks Motor City Machine Guns after the match. Maybe this goes towards DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns, maybe at not Money in the Bank, maybe in the Saudi show, maybe another episode of Smackdown. We'll see, but that's what I'm hoping will happen, I guess. I want to put much more of an emphasis on the tag team division this time around because SmackDown has been doing that, and I don't want to lose that focus. So there you go. Next is the tag team championships between Street Profits and Fraxium. We're gonna have Street Profits win by pinfall after DIY interferes later on in the match, and Fraxium is going to have to try again at a later date, and they're gonna have to climb back again. Sorry, they're not getting pushed. Well, they are getting pushed, but not to this level. All right, they're not gonna win the tag team championships, I don't think. I think Street Profits are still going to win, and I'm not surprised if they do a DQ on here as well, just to protect both teams. But I am leaning on Street Profits winning here by pinfall. Next, we have the Money in the Bank qualifying match between Julia Zelina Vega and Charlotte. And we're going to have Charlotte win by pinfall because she is Charlotte. End of story. Next is Andrade and Rey Fenix versus Los Garza. This is the match I was talking about at the beginning of the show. So we're going to have Los Garza operate at a very nice level here. You know, we're going to tell the story of them operating kind of well, and then along the way, as the match is happening, we're going to see some miscommunications here between Garza and Berto, and that leads to some kind of argument between them, and then it all goes to a head. There's a low blow where Berto low blows Garza and sort of leaves the ring, and it leads to Andrade and Rey Fenix winning by pinfall. And I know this might sound foolish, but I think that Berto leaving the group is the play here, and him being frustrated with the fact that his partner is not as great as him, and he's doing this for Santos and his family, or I guess just for Santos to gloat that his faction is really cool. I think that Bertolo blowing Garza in that match and leaving the ring is probably the play here, unless they do it after the match, which I could also see happening. But I'm leaning towards Berto leaving the ring and Andrade and Rey Fenix win that match. And that is that, I guess. Moving on to, I guess, the last segment. I don't really have a lot of stuff here because I think SmackDown is returning to a 2-hour show soon, and I would like that to happen so that there's less stuff happening and they get to focus on what they need to focus on without any of the fluff. So we're going to end with a John Cena promo, and I know he's not announced for any dates after WrestleMania or Backlash, I guess, but we're going to have John Cena either be on satellite or him being in the ring, replying to R-Truth, saying that his Saturday night's main event match with R-Truth is a nothing burger, that he will happen to beat R-Truth, and that John Cena is the last real champion, and he killed everyone's childhood by killing Randy Orton, and he is going to do the same to R-Truth. He is going to kill the legend of Lil Jimmy, and he will show to R-Truth that he is the better man, he is the hero in his own eyes and not others, and that Lil Jimmy is fake, and all that stuff. That's it. We're not going to have an R-Truth attack here. We're not going to have a Randy Orton attack here. We're just going to have John Cena just speak his mind about R-Truth, and that's how we're going to end the show, I guess. So that's that. Thoughts?
So just a little bit out of scope here. Who do you think wins at Saturday night's main event? R-Truth or John Cena? This
I
this is
think
not like an official prediction. I just want to get your thoughts to see if that influenced your booking for SmackDown. Because mine did. Because I had a
okay.
thought of who's going to win, and that influenced my booking for SmackDown, or my predictions for SmackDown.
Keep in mind that this SmackDown would be the go home show for Saturday night's main event. So, in my opinion, I don't see them handing it over to R-Truth. It seems more to me that giving it to R-Truth would just diminish the value of the championship. And I'd rather have them keep it on Cena, at least for a while, until there's a challenger that's worthy enough. Maybe we have Cody return to screw John Cena or something like that, or maybe build up to their rematch or something like that. I don't know. Maybe some other guy is gonna take it from Cena besides Cody, but I don't see R-Truth winning here. I think that's stupid, and frankly, I think that will just make the IWC laugh. So I think if they're to get this notion that R-Truth may have a chance at winning. Maybe in this segment, R-Truth might attack John Cena, and John Cena would just try to hit back at R-Truth. But for some reason, R-Truth just like does a roll up and pins him 1, 2, 3. There's no referee in the ring, by the way. We're just gonna have like R-Truth roll him up, and then the audience counts 1, 2, 3, and then R-Truth rolls out of the ring. Maybe something like that, and he'll just walk out, and then John Cena is angry or something like that. But I think it's more in the case of, well, R-Truth did an interview, and John Cena didn't have a way to respond to that, so I'm just gonna have him respond to R-Truth and build up to their match at Saturday night's main event. But I don't think R-Truth is winning. I think John Cena is retaining that title, and that's my line of thinking here.
The fight is non-title.
It is for the title.
It's non-title, bro.
It is for the title. What do you mean?
It's non-title. It's a non-title
What?
fight. Yes.
Hold on. Is it? Am I?
Yes, it's a non-title fight.
No way. Okay.
It's
you know
not.
what?
It's a non-title bout.
What? What the hell? Hold on. It's. Oh, it is a non-title match. What the? Why are we having this then? What?
Yep. Yeah. It's a non-title fight. Yep.
Why did I have it in my mind that it would be a title match? Okay. Okay. Well, that changes things. I mean, I still think John Cena wins here. Sorry to say, but I'm gonna have John Cena win here, and whatever. That's that. Any other questions? Any other questions?
I'm also curious why you took Aleister Black over LA Knight. I think they're still booking LA Knight quite hot, and I think they want to push him up to the upper card to be with the likes of Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. I think he'll definitely get a shot at John Cena.
Really?
And I'm just a little bit curious to why you chose. And I know like they're also booking Aleister Black hot, but when I was deciding between, the three men, I really didn't think Aleister Black would really go over LA Knight, even if he doesn't pin him.
LA Knight has business with the Bloodline. If you saw last week on Smackdown, he attacked, what is it, JC Mateo and what's his name? Not Solo. Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Why do I keep blanking on this guy's name? So I think he is still going to be inserted into that whole storyline between JC Mateo, which is not a Samoan name, by the way. I don't know how they got that. Sounds more like an Italian name. But
the next guy they're gonna pull is gonna be called like Ryan Clark or something. Just the whitest name possible, like Matthew Anderson, and he's just like a 6'8" ripped like tan dude.
I mean, he doesn't even look Samoan, bruh. What is he, like an honorary Oos? Or like...
He's an honorary Oos.
What are we doing here, Solo? It's just carnage at this point. It's all he wants. It doesn't matter who it is that enters the Bloodline. We're just gonna call it the Bloodline Wolfpack and have it be all members welcome. And there you go. But anyway... I think that LA Knight is not going to win because LA Knight is in that Bloodline storyline right now. And if there's anyone that needs to win more than anyone, it's Aleister Black. And honestly, John Cena being taken out of the picture by Aleister Black sounds fine to me. That sounds good. But I wouldn't be mad if LA Knight wins. But
I think an Aleister Black and Shinsuke Nakamura feud sounds really interesting to me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think they've feuded in NXT before.
Like Elden Ring Boss Elden Ring boss Nakamura versus Aleister Black sounds really entertaining.
Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad either if they do that, but I don't think they would because no one cares about Shinsuke. No one cares about Shinsuke, unfortunately. So we're gonna have Aleister Black win here, I think.
Why are you so over on Berto? Are you a mark for Berto?
listen, listen, okay? Legado del Fantasma are great. I just don't want to see this breakup happen. But if a breakup angle were to happen, this is how I think it would go down. Okay, I think it would be Berto going out of the group because they've been building to that. It's less about Garza. I think Garza is gonna stay with Santos and be a tag team, but Berto is gonna go and I don't know. He's gonna go to like WWE Speed or something and just do speed matches and win the Speed Championship.
El Grande Americano is the speed champion, and I don't think they mentioned it once on television.
I think they did.
They have, yes, but
Yeah.
it was an offhand comment by Michael Cole, I think.
Yeah.
That's how little they care. He doesn't even carry the belt with him. Like,
true.
he just I think he mentioned it when, like, El Grande Americano was fighting Rey Fenix. And Michael Cole was like, oh yeah, by the way, he's the WWE Speed Champion. Like, isn't that more important than whatever that? It's just an offhand comment.
Yeah. It's just I don't think they care about WWE Speed. It's just a thing to put in X, Twitter, however you want to call it. You just call it a day, and that's it. So I
should
think
bring back the 24/7 championship at this point.
no.
You should, and then replace that
Oh
with
my
speed,
God.
because that makes much more sense, because then you could have, like, X posts of, like, El Grande Americano getting ambushed at, like, the border by fucking Karrion Kross with Border Patrol, and then he gets pinned, and then Karrion Kross wins the 24/7 championship.
There's just some unknown desert in Mexico and freaking
Yeah, like on the border in like
He's on
Arizona,
vacation.
like he's at the fence, he's at the border fence, and then Karrion Kross comes in with Border Patrol, and then he takes him out and then pins him in the sand, and then Karrion Kross wins 24/7 championship. I think that's more entertaining than WWE Speed.
Okay. Well, there you go. I think there were times the 24/7 championship changed hands during like a wedding, and they had it change hands during a date, I think, or in like a hotel room or something like that. Like the 24/7 went a lot of places, man.
I forget what feud this was. I think it was the KD Vick storyline, because I was binge watching a bunch of Adam Blampier's booking the other day, and I think it was the KD Vick storyline where I think it was Kane that shot a scene in a funeral home. It's like talking about The Undertaker or something about a funeral. And like they were doing this scene in a funeral home with Kane in full costume, while next door there was an actual wake for a dead person going on.
What?
Yeah.
That's
Like
ridiculous.
imagine you just walk down the fucking door, you just look inside, you see fucking Kane just in there, like
Oh
what the
my
hell,
Lord.
man?
What the hell?
Yeah, I could be wrong in like when that time frame was, or who was actually shooting the promo, but I'm pretty sure at one point there was a promo shot in a funeral home while there was a wake going on at the same funeral home. Crazy
Okay.
stuff.
Big
All
if
right.
true. Well, at least we have one 24/7 championship fan, and his name is Mike. So there you go. He wants the 24/7 title back. You know what? I will say this about the 24/7 title. Okay, I will say this. The look of the title is not that bad. I think the green and the gold kind of accentuate individually, and they also combine to make a perfect sort of picture when it comes to the championship itself. It looks, honestly, it looks
does.
okay.
It's honestly like not that bad, and I think it's entertaining in a sense that it gives people stuff to do. Like it gives them, like, I know it's kind of a crutch, right? Where it's like we're just going to give this person the 24/7 championship, and it's sort of like a way for us to put him into basically anything. But I think it introduces a lot of interesting stuff to where, like, if you want to have a social media presence and you want to have like a show, like you can just have weekly segments where someone has to defend the 24/7 championship at like a fucking Starbucks or at the gym or at the beach or in their apartment. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it makes more sense than Speed, because no one watches Speed, and then when somebody's like, this person is the WWE Speed champion, and then you're like, what the fuck is WWE speed?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes uh, uh, I'm still mixed on that. I don't know how they're gonna book the 24/7 championship, at least in this current administration, and I don't think the fans would be happy about the 24/7 title returning. But I think, hold on, so the 24/7 championship, just one more tidbit. I think it was Shane McMahon who came up with that idea to save the failing ratings of Monday Night Raw at the time, because they were on cable and they wanted to think of ways to sort of try to get their ratings up. And Shane McMahon was like, what if we introduce the 24/7 championship, which can be defended at any time, any place, anywhere? And then the network that they were hosted on said, all right, that sounds good, put it on. And that's how that happened.
Apparently, Nikki ASH was the last / Nikki Cross were
Yes.
the last champion. And I'm
Yes.
looking at Wikipedia right now, and non-wrestlers that held the title include Rob Gronkowski,
Yep. I
Bad
remember
Bunny. Who else? The Gobbledygooker, which is the turkey from
that.
Survivor
Yes.
Series.
Yes.
Doug Flutie, Marshmallow, the DJ.
Yeah, the DJ. Yeah.
And for some reason, Ennis Cantor. What?
I'm telling
That
you,
is
man.
the most random. That is the most random NBA player to show up. Who I also want to. I know you don't know a lot about NBA. I don't want to turn this into an NBA show. But Ennis Cantor, in response to basically China's like enslavement of the Uyghur people and Nike basically shutting him down because, Nike makes all their shit in China. He changed his last name to Freedom. So
Okay.
his name is now Ennis Freedom.
Amazing. That guy should be in WWE. I'll just say it. He should be a wrestler. He could take on Jack Swagger's gimmick, man. We the people.
Oh, sorry, no. He changed his last name after he became an American citizen. He changed his name to Ennis Freedom. That is so weird. I just looked at the Wikipedia page for the 24/7 championship and I saw Ennis Cantor and I was like, why? What is my man blood doing here?
I don't even know when that happened, and I lived through the 24/7 championship deal. Like, I don't remember that happening. I remember the other ones, but not the NBA guy. It's
I'm
insane.
gonna look at this real quick. I found a clip.
Oh no.
Let me see.
He found a clip.
Oh my god, there's no audio. Why? No. So this is when he was on the Knicks. I'll actually send this to you if you want to post it, if you want to show it in post. But this is when he was on the Knicks, which is ironic because we're also getting a Knicks feud. But he wasn't even like that popular when he was on the Knicks. Like he was a starting center, but he wasn't the level of like Jalen Brunson or Halliburton. Bro, he actually just hit R-Truth and pinned him.
I'm telling you, man. Vince got ideas, man. He got some
and
ideas.
then he pulled off his dude. Oh my god, I forgot. This is when he signed with Boston, and he tore off his jacket and showed off his Boston jersey.
Oh my god.
This happened?
I don't remember this happening, man. I don't remember. I don't remember it, but it happened. When was this?
Okay.
Like 2018?
This was 6 years ago. Yeah, so it was 2019. That's around when he joined up at Boston. All right, I'm done. I'm gonna do my card now. That was just wow.
I mean, okay, yeah. If you're willing to book the 24/7 championship into existence, we would dedicate a show to how you would book, or at least an episode on how you would book the 24/7 championship when it comes back. But
I just never expected to see like Ennis Cantor on a Wikipedia page about a WWE title, but here we are.
By the way, R-Truth, longest reigning 24/7 championship.
Yes, he is associated. He's kind of the face of that championship.
Gotta love him. All right.
Speaking of R-Truth, it's time for my card.
Yep.
Okay, so we're starting with the announced triple threat qualifying match between Aleister Black, LA Knight, and Shinsuke Nakamura. I think LA Knight pins Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, do I feel bad for Shinsuke Nakamura? I do, because he's a good wrestler, and I think WWE hates him for some reason. And I love his current Elden Ring boss gimmick. I think it's really cool, and I really wish he would do more with it. But LA Knight is still extremely over, and I think that he gets booked into it, and I think he actually wins the Money in the Bank ladder match. And I think that he is going to set up a fight with John Cena. I don't think he wins the title at any point. Maybe John Cena loses it at some point and he cashes in after. But I do think that LA Knight wins the Money in the Bank ladder match. But that's irrelevant. For this booking, I think LA Knight goes over, pins Shinsuke Nakamura, and hopefully Shinsuke and Aleister Black get into a feud. But
Yeah,
probably not.
hopefully. I mean, I think both of them kind of deserve one at this point, but again, as I said earlier, no one really cares that much about Shinsuke, and honestly, I think Aleister Black has more of a case to win this one, but hey man, if LA Knight wins, I wouldn't be that mad about it, honestly.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Moving
Next segment.
on. Next segment.
Nice JPEG. You couldn't even
Listen,
get it to be
listen. I scoured the internet for the best picture of Damian Priest, and this is
Do you
what I
not know how
got.
to
Okay.
you know how to use GIMP? Just use GIMP and
Oh
lasso
my
tool, man.
god. Listen, man. Listen.
This is some
Listen.
2007 movie maker effort here.
Listen, man. All right. The Rock has his PowerPoint. All right. Let me have my PowerPoint. Okay. This is my
Okay.
PowerPoint presentation, young man.
All right. All right.
Damian
So
Priest.
last week, Drew McIntyre came out and spoke about Damian Priest. This week, I think it's the opposite. Priest comes out. He says this is basically the same thing. I'm going to leave you in the cage. I'm a street rat. I fought on the streets of Puerto Rico. That was awful. I fucked that up.
Bad Bunny also fought in the streets of Puerto Rico.
Yes.
But no one talks
Yep.
about
Bad Bunny also fought in the streets of Puerto Rico as well. Drew comes out, tells him to stop being a bitch, something, bisexual Undertaker. A brawl ensues with both men being separated at the end by security who surprisingly do their job. The reason why I don't think any of them should get over on the other right now. I think we should wait until the actual fight to finally end this fucking feud. Oh my
Yeah.
god, please just put Drew McIntyre in a title feud. My god, this man needs a title.
Honestly, Drew McIntyre versus what's his name, Jacob Fatu. Again, I'm blacking out on Jacob Fatu, but Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu would be a pretty good match, and I think it would be an interesting feud. But are they going to take a chance on a heel versus heel feud? I don't know. I do think that Drew McIntyre deserves more, and hopefully, I think the steel cage match is going to be the last between Damian and Drew because, as you said, it's too long. We need a break, honestly.
We do.
All right, moving on to Meechin and BFAB versus the Secret Herbis. Again,
This is really the best picture we have for the Secret Herbis.
Again, I scoured the internet for the best picture of Secret Herbis, and this is what I got. Okay, just don't blame me. Blame the sources, man. There aren't a lot of pictures of the Secret Herbis.
So I think we have a tag team fight between Meechin and BFAB and Secret Herbis. This was because last week these two got into it with each other in a backstage segment that was more notable for Alexa Bliss getting into it a little bit with Chelsea. I think these two go at it today on Smackdown. And I think the Secret Herbis win with Chelsea interference, probably from her being a Karen to the referee, and they win. And I think they need a win because I think they want to try to establish them as a heel presence, even though they're kind of a comedy gimmick. But I was telling you this before the show that Secret Herbis are the only women's tag team on SmackDown, like legitimate tag team, not just two people together. And I think they need to establish them as an actual tag team. But I could be wrong because they probably don't care about women's tag teams. So.
And my suggestion to that is to retire the women's tag team championships entirely. If you cannot make any decent women's tag teams, then get rid of it. You already have a women's IC championship. You already have a women's US championship. Why would you waste your time on a division that's not even there for you to just book haphazardly? I don't think it's a good idea to maintain that championship. I think it's a good idea to just put it away and focus on your women's mid card and taking it to a gold standard instead of just wasting your time on a tag team division that's not really formed. Like, in my opinion, it needs to organically have women's tag teams. You need to have a lot of damage controls, is what I'm saying, for a women's tag team division. And right now, they do not. There's only this damage control. I mean, who else are just dedicated women's tag teams in both Raw and SmackDown? Not a lot. So, in my opinion, the women's division needs to organically grow to where it can have women's tag teams that are dedicated and not just random pairings for this championship to be sustained.
Right. Yeah, the only others that existed were like Hayden Carter and a ton of Chance, right? And they got released.
They got released,
I believe. Yes. And then there was Damage Control, which got broken up when Dakota Kai got released. So there really aren't any left.
Yeah. So do away with it. And
fair enough.
Yeah. And bring back the 24/7 championship. That's how we got this. You know what? We should bring back the 24/7 championship as a women's championship. There you go.
It was
That's
actually a mixed title because, like I said,
That's
Nikki
true.
Cross held it last, so it was a mixed title.
We're going to have it be a predominantly female-oriented championship, is what I'm saying. If they are to bring back the 24/7 championship, it should be to make the women's mid-card feel astounding.
It should really just be a comedy gimmick championship. Like, it really should just be used for comedy gimmicks to have, like, who is the best comedy gimmick in this company? Here's your belt.
Oh, Chelsea Green?
That would actually be kind of a funny bit where she's upset about losing the US title, and then they go out and they ambush whoever the fuck is holding a 24/7 championship. This episode has really just become us booking the 24/7 championship back into existence, but I apologize. They go out and ambush whoever's holding the 24/7 championship, and they bring it back to her, and they're like, here, we got you this, and she's like, oh, I don't want this.
It's your consolation prize for participation. And okay, I forgot who wins this one. Who did you say?
I said Secret Harvest win with Chelsea interference,
Okay.
probably flashing her tits at the. Nope, sorry, being a Karen to the referee.
Okay.
Forgot it's not 1998 anymore.
No,
sorry.
it's not. You really want the Attitude Era back, don't you? All right. Moving
Booing
on.
is only allowed outside of TV hours. Do not boon during the show. After the show only.
What I mean, why'd I have Trish Stratus and the table and her being like, oh, tables, I like tables. Put me through a table. That's what she said, right? Put me through a table?
Yes.
Moving on.
Money in the Bank qualifying match, another announced one. Charlotte wins because Charlotte Flair.
There you go. You might as well hand the match to her and have them say, okay, Julia's gonna win this one, and Charlotte says, that doesn't work for me, brother. And there you go.
She says, that doesn't work for me, brother. Woo.
Pull the creative control card.
I was almost teetering on having Tiffany Stratton interfere, but I realized they already did that on Raw with Lyra Valkyria, and I thought that would be a little bit too repetitive.
Yeah.
For them. So.
True.
I think Charlotte wins clean because Charlotte.
Charlotte wins, lol.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to
I am attempting this again. I am trying this one more time.
Oh my god!
Because I do think this could happen, and I think they're leading to it because I've seen what they've been doing with Naomi in backstage, and I think this is going to happen eventually. If it doesn't happen this week, I'm probably going to stop booking this because it's not going to happen.
Before he books another Nia Jax promo next week.
There's not many other people on SmackDown that I can book into a promo. Oh,
this is your side, Triple H. Do a draft pretty soon, please.
Basically, same thing as I said last week. Nia Jax comes out, talks about Tiffany. Tiffany comes out to reply to her. You know, they get into a bit of a shouting match. Naomi comes out and attacks Tiffany when they confront each other, and you have a new team of Nia Jax and Naomi.
All right, you're going to attempt Naomi having Nia Jax as a friend one more time.
Yes. One more time. I do think this is where they're going with it, and if I am right, I am going to be so satisfied with myself. But I'm probably not.
Yeah, you're going to be satisfied with Road Dogg, not Triple H, because Road Dogg is responsible for writing SmackDown.
No wonder it's so ass.
Do you
Listen,
really not like
I
Road
like
Dogg?
the Road Dogg. As a wrestler, I like him. But as a booker, my guy... stop cooking, please.
Okay, it's okay.
This is the man. This is the man who has booked the Bloodline for the last fucking 40 years, dude. You're bringing in like third cousins that live in Montana
and
named
name him
JC Mateo.
JC Mateo. Oh my god. Okay, it's okay. Triple H is gonna hand SmackDown over to X-Pac, and all will be well with the world. There you go. At least SmackDown doesn't have Dominic Mysterio, so I mean that's good. At least we got to deal with LWO from Temu.
Do you want to discuss Dominic being a hoe, or do you want to wait till next week?
This is. I'd rather have it next week because it's Raw related. If you want to book something regarding that for Raw, go ahead.
I'll save my comments for next week. I'll save my comments for next week because I am utterly flustered with how this absolute literal fucking retard continues to pull 10 out of 10s despite being probably the most retarded person on the Raw roster.
It's the Riz, man. It's the charisma.
What Riz? You know some base level of intelligence to have Riz.
You know the expression failing upward? That's him. He's failing upward.
Yeah, I said this to you when we were watching the show. I was like, the only person I know that fumbles into the bag.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
Love it. His chicken nuggets obsession is gonna get him someday. Someday he's gonna fall to his love of chicken tendies.
They're not good macros, man. I listen. I know I love me some chicken tendies, but they're not good macros, Dom.
You're gonna replace Dom as his dad? Saying no, Dom. Bad macros. Bad.
I just want him to tag with his father again, man.
It's they're slow burning this Judgment Day breakup. So when it happens, you're gonna pog hard. You're gonna mark out.
I'll mark out. Yep.
All right. Speaking of maybe marking out, I don't know. Tag team championships.
Fraxium and Street Profits. I think the Street Profits win via disqualification with interference from DIY. I think what they're going to do with DIY is book them as sort of this chaos creating heel group where they go around and basically disrupt every other tag team in the locker room, regardless if they're heel or face.
Okay.
And that's where I think we're going. And I can see this ending up at Money in the Bank in like a 4-pack ladder match between the Street Profits, Fraxium, DIY, and one of the other tag teams on SmackDown, you know, whether it be Legado del Fantasma, whether it be Pretty Deadly, whether it be Motor City Machine Guns, probably Motor City Machine Guns. And I think we end up in that kind of situation where at the beginning, like, everybody goes after DIY because they all have a grudge with them, and they just get destroyed to start the match. But I think Street Profits win via DQ with interference from DIY.
All right. Well, there you go. No questions there. And last segment is you put Randy Orton against R-Truth. Wow.
I did.
Interesting.
Yes. This was influenced by me predicting or thinking about Saturday night's main event. And I think that R-Truth actually wins over John Cena.
Okay.
What I think happens there is I think Randy Orton intervenes. I think he RKOs John Cena. He also RKOs R-Truth, but R-Truth gets up after, you know, a little bit sooner than John Cena. You know, Randy also RKOs the rest of the staff on his way out, and that's how R-Truth wins at Saturday night.
Okay.
I think he wins because it's not a title fight, so it doesn't really matter. Now,
yeah,
I think what happens...
a loss for John Cena as a champion, really? That kind of seems...
But it's a non-clean finish, though.
Oh, yeah.
Interference from Randy Orton.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I see.
So what I think happens on SmackDown is there's probably a backstage segment where you know, R-Truth is like, hey, you know, I'm sorry for interfering in your match, whatever. You know, I really want to win this for little Jimmy, and I could use your help getting ready for John Cena. And Randy's like, yeah, you know, I do kind of want to beat your ass, so I'll beat your ass in the main event. And Randy Orton beats him in the main event of SmackDown.
Okay. All right. I see. Well, that's, I guess, about it for that, we are going to watch the next episode of Smackdown, and we are going to tally up our predictions and our bookings based on the work in progress score point system thingy. Yes, it is called that. And next week, you will probably hear from us on our results. But until then, thank you so much for ordering a blue cheese pizza called probably next week on Smackdown from Grapperinos. And remember, if you want some fresh, oven-baked, crispy wrestling content, then stop on by Grapperinos and order yourself some content you can grapple with. See you then, Grapperinos.